Hello, everyone. This is Morgan Reese, and this is Good Morning Black People with Morgan Reese. And I'm your amazing host, Morgan Reese. And I have the amazing, the intelligent, the one of a kind, unique Dr. Andre Blaylock on my stage today. I call him a relationship expert. And he says he's a moderator, but he's an expert, in my opinion. He's also an author of many books. He'll tell you about those in a minute. And he's also the host of the Hot Challenge.
The hot seat challenge. Yeah.
Talk talk show.
Yeah.
So after my intro, we're going to go right on into it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, where you are. Guys, you better join in some nothing but fun.
I'm serious. You're a trip too, so I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm expecting to have a good time.
On purpose. Again, thank you again. Welcome back, everyone. This is Morgan Reese, and I'm your host of Good Morning Black People with Morgan Reese. And I have this man right here, Dr. Andre Blaylock. You see him right there front and center. The man with many talents, with many gifts. Such an amazing young man. We ain't going to talk about me no more. Dr. Blaylock, can I just call you Dre?
Yeah, call me Dre.
So Dre,
yeah.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
A lot of people have a hard time because I don't have one of those Southern slangs, but I can go into it when I need to,
On purpose. On purpose.
On purpose. That's right.
So how many books have you published? First of all,
I did 4. Okay. So the first one was What's Your Date Number? The second one was Cheat Proof. The third one I did with collaboration with the Instagram influencer, Mr. Terry Duran, and it's called Forensics of Cheating, Mindsets of the Unfaithful. And all 3 of them were kind of like self-help relationship books, but the 4th one that I did was my first attempt at a novel, and it's called Cheater, Lover, Liar, Gigolo. And I'm excited about that one.
So let me ask you this, as a man.
Yes.
And most men, unfortunately, are known to be more of a cheater than women are.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, that's what the word on the street is. But for my own personal journey, I have become the cheater. I used to be the cheater. And I used to be around men, and I would ask those questions. Like, I was one of those people, let me hang around people who are doing the bad things or doing things that are making them unhappy, that's causing them to do the bad things. So I won't be that same person, or I'll be a better person to make sure I hold on to my relationship or my circumstance or my situation, whatever it was. So what made you be the man that says, I'm going to just expose or help or guide and help people figure out why you were a cheater?
Well, my pushback is women cheat as much as men. Y'all are just better at it than us. Okay? Women pay attention to details a lot. Men don't pay attention to the details. And the way that a woman would do it is she will put it out front. I have a man. If you ever see me out in public, if you don't want to talk yourself out of some of this good, you ignore me. If I call you over, you can come over. But she sets the stage. Most of the time, a man is going to make the side chick believe that she's a little more than she really is. So when, let's just say we're dating, your side piece come in, you're like, Trey, that's a guy I grew up with. Tyrone, come here for a minute. Tyrone, this is my man, Dre, whatever, and we'll be dapping each other up, and I won't know anything about it, right? If my side chick walks in, all of a sudden, my butt get tight as a period. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, now you looking at me, you can tell something went on. You're like, his attitude changed, something went on, and you can probably zero in on the chick before I do, right? So women are just better at it than men. Y'all don't talk about it as much. Y'all don't brag about it. But I used to be a horrible cheater. Okay. I guess I was addicted to it. There's a such thing called the cheater's high. And it's like just the high of potentially getting away from it. You can get addicted to that. Um, and I always say that once a cheater, some people say once a cheater, always a cheater. Well, I'm a reformed cheater, but I'm one vagina away from falling off the wagon. Okay, you have to recognize that whether it's alcohol, drug abuse, you have to realize an alcoholic is always going to be an alcoholic. He may be 20 years removed from a drink, but if he gets to drinking again, that addictive behavior will pick right back up. So in this book, Cheat Proof, Why Good People Cheat and What to Do About It, a lot of people think that you're just horrible. Like there's no reason in the world to cheat and only horrible people cheat. Well, that's a lie. You know, it's like there are plenty of reasons to cheat. It boils down to character. Okay. So it's not whether or not a person cheats, it's the type of cheater that you're dealing with. If they're a narcissistic cheater, that's the classic once a cheater, always a cheater. They don't feel remorse for what they've done. They can recognize they're cheating, they don't feel sorry about it. So they will keep doing it. Then you have the compunction cheater. The compunction cheater is the person that it's not in their nature to cheat normally. They just found themselves in the circumstance and they cheated, but they feel awful about it. As soon as they get in front of their partner, they're going to admit it, probably on bending knees, crying, and they're going to do everything that they can to repair that relationship. And 31% of marriages who experience cheating with a compunction cheater go on to build a stronger, healthier marriage. But I just, I used to be that narcissistic cheater, and I'm like, I've recognized it and I wanted to do better. So once I knew what it was that I was dealing with, then I knew how to combat it.
Okay, have you ever heard of what I was a part of, was an unhappy cheater?
Okay.
So in relationships, I've learned with men, and I used to ask men why would they cheat, and they said, well, my wife wasn't doing this, or my girlfriend wasn't doing this. Like we were just on your show recently on your platform, and our great friend, Mr. G, said, beginning the relationship, we need to get it in now so I know if I'm happy or if I'm not happy. And I was the unhappy cheater. So most men say, you women, y'all talk a lot, but y'all never tell us what you want. And so I was the opposite. I'm going to tell you, I'm unhappy with you. Why? X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And I give you chance after chance after chance. And if you're like, okay, I hear you, baby. And most men, you guys are like, okay, I hear you talking too much. And as I learned, men have waffles and women like spaghetti. We're all over the place. And everything we tell you guys, you put it in a compartment. Sometimes you just don't want to do anything. That's your compartment. So when a woman tells a man why she's unhappy or why things are not right, and then you refuse to say, okay, I'm gonna try to do better. And you like, whatever. As long as I kiss her this, or I buy her this, or I do this, she'll let me go. She'll let it pass, and we can go back to normal. What kind of cheater is that? Because
it just boils down. Basically, all cheaters, like there's two, like the compunction and narcissistic. Now they're different, like little. Like if you say I'm happy, then you can put joy, contentment, peace all up under that heading, right? So under narcissistic, there could be the type of person like, okay, well, you're a nag. And if you nag me constantly, then I'm probably not going to do what you want me to do anyway. That can fall under narcissistic, right? But those are legitimate reasons that people would consider cheating, right? You've asked for it repeatedly. That person didn't hear you. Now, naturally, the longer you're with the person, sometimes the relationship can get sweeter, but a lot of times you start taking your partner for granted, right? You peg them. You like, I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to say. And from that point forward, your relationship dies. It can't grow from there because you've reached a conclusion about your partner and your relationship. So it can't go anywhere because that's your perception of it, right?
Right.
So it goes back to when you're dating, you can see if the person that you're dating, if you take time to use, I like to say, watch their emotions run the full gamut several times. you can tell if you're dealing with a person that will dismiss you. Now, in the beginning, it's going to be easy, especially if it's a man towards a woman, because he wants the booty. Okay, so he's going to be all in. But there are certain signals before you really start liking him and your emotions connect to him, where you can kind of see, this joker can be a little sideways a little bit. Oh, but he's so cute. Or he blows my back out, or whatever excuse that we give, right? But you've seen it.
On.
You've seen it. Red flags are a reason. You can see a red flag and no harm, no foul. You won't get a ticket if you stop before you pass the red light. But if you run the red light, and a lot of times your emotions will cause you to run the red light, you're going to get that ticket one way or the other. So in your situation, you were telling your dude, he was hearing you, but it didn't matter as much. It just didn't matter as much.
That's why he's the ex now. Unfortunately, his loss, my new one's gained. So let me ask you this. How do you, what's the secret, or what's the dynamic to make it a relationship last forever? Like I meet couples where they've been together 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50, and so forth. And you can actually see the good and the bad. You know, some people put on a lot of facade when it comes to relationship. Like social media builds this facade relationship. That's why I'm one of those people. I don't want to put my relationship on social media. I want to put it on for the world to see. What is me and him is me and him. It's not for the world. So what is the dynamic or the secret to make those relationships last forever, especially when you come from a generation or a past of broken relationships or unhappy relationships, and you're like, dang, man, I'm gonna try it again because I don't want to be jumping from person to person, especially when you get older. Like I just turned 50, so
Right.
And you meet people that are 60, they're 70, and they end up starting all over after being in a relationship. Like I had a family member, she was with her husband for 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when they divorced, they was in their late 60s.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was possible.
Right. That's called silver divorce. That's called silver divorce. Where people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, they're getting divorced at a higher rate than the younger people. And there are different reasons for that. But the key to forever, to use that term, is number one, dating properly. Now, Black folk, we don't date, we court, or we mate. If I'm on the West Coast and I'm talking to a predominantly white audience, and I say, well, how many of you all are actively dating? A lot of hands go up. And I call them, well, Becky, who are you dating right now? How are you dating? Well, no one seriously right now. I'm just dating, but I'm not serious with anyone. If I come back towards the East Coast and I talk to an audience of predominantly Black people, and I ask the sisters, how many of y'all are actively dating? Fewer hands go up. And if I point to one like Shanika, who are you dating? Oh, me, Tyrone, it's a name. No, dating, the purpose of dating. People say I date with a purpose. The purpose of dating is to meet and interact with interesting new people. That's the purpose of dating. Dating with the purpose is not you trying to get married because you're putting a romantic scope on it before it even starts. And what you're going to do if you're dating with a purpose, you have this imaginary person of your imagination that you're going to juxtapose this real person standing in front of you against. Now, you ain't never experienced the imaginary person, but this real person, oh, he ain't the right height, or he's not the right complexion, or he's not shaped right, or he doesn't make enough money. See, you're going to start judging people that way. But the key to forever is, number one, don't take yourself too seriously. You got to be able to laugh at your own self. Realize the drama that you bring to the relationship. See, I'm a secure dismissive. So I had to understand what my attachment style was. And I have a primary and secondary. Now, what is the secondary? Because that secondary is attached to my subconscious. And when I'm not thinking about it, I can misbehave. So if you talk to me a certain way, I'll turn you off and dismiss you. And being dismissed is worse than being hated, because at least if I hate you, I feel some way about you. But if I dismiss you, it's like you don't exist at all. So I had to learn that about myself. So if I'm talking to someone and she pushed the button or pulled the trigger and I start going that way, I'm like, you know what? It's not her, Dre. It's not her. It's you. This is the way that you're responding or perceiving this. You need to fix that. Because if you break up with her because you take yourself so seriously, because you think you deserve whatever, you can let a good woman go. And the next one that you encounter, when she does this or something like it, you're going to react the same way. So don't take yourself seriously. Date, learn what dating is. And the third thing is, when you decide to be with someone, make a decision. It can't be based upon your emotions. Forever is based upon, I decide to be here come hell or high water. But because I dated you properly and I've seen you run your gamut of emotions, I know what your angry and crazy look like. I can handle your level of crazy. We can do this forever because I know that you're not going to act out but so much. And you just decide to be there. You're going to have good days, bad days. You're going to have bad years.
But you said one key word, what I always say all the time: don't push my buttons. You won't get a different version of me.
Right. Yeah,
so,
but you know what those buttons are.
Right. And then my for me, I actually tell you what my buttons is. And if I tell you, and you're just like, I ain't listening to you, whatever. My thing is, when those people push those buttons and then they see a different version of you, because when you came to them, like I'm learning in relationships, they come to people, they don't come to them with their true selves. Nobody really do that anymore. They'll come to them with what that person said they want. So if you meet a woman and she says, well, I want a man who's making this much money. I want a man to wine and dine me. I want a man to be like this, to be like that. And then you're like, okay, well, that's what you want. I'm gonna give you that facade for that moment, or vice versa. A man says, well, I want my woman to be like this, and I want my woman to be like that. And then normally when you get comfortable with somebody, in my opinion, what I think, when you get comfortable with somebody, you start showing your true self. And then when you start showing your true self, it's like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. No. You should be ready for that. Because when you get married, for good, for bad, the worst, the up, the down, the broke, the rich, you're supposed to show all of that. And if you don't show that all in the beginning, don't be shocked when you start seeing in the middle and the end.
That's true. See, the thing about attraction, when you like someone or you dislike someone, you're not going to see them clearly. If I like you, if I really like you, you probably can't do no wrong in my eyes. If I hate you, everything you do, I don't even like the way you breathe air. You know what I mean? So if I hate you, I'm going to exaggerate either way. So the thing about it is, if through proper dating, using the process of elimination, Andre is going to study Morgan, how Morgan does her life outside of Andre. Right? I'm not going to assert myself trying to be your man. And most of the time, these dudes try to shut you down in less than 3 weeks because we realize that competition is key. And I ain't going to want to compete or whatever. It's like, stop. To the winner goes the spoils. And jokers try to shut you down immediately. So the thing is, if you're dating properly and you don't attach too quickly, I'm going to see how you do your life. I'm going to see how busy you are. I'm going to see how you connect with your friends, your family, how you just maneuver without me being in the picture. Because if you've been doing that and it's part of who you are, you can continue to do that when I'm in the picture. My thing is, she's got a full busy life. How can I support what she's currently doing without trying to take over or change her? Right? Not trying to be big daddy, ain't paying your bills, ain't doing that. You already doing that. I'm already doing it. What are you doing? Can I come to you with some good ideas? You're a creator. So I'm thinking, if you have a dude, he needs to be a creator too, or be able to support you in your creative endeavors. Because if he's not, you can't bounce too many things off of him and he give you good input. And then it's like, why you always asking me something with that? Why ain't you got nothing to say? Well, you picked them. You know what I mean? You just gotta know what it is, not what you want, because you can have anything that you want. You just can't have everything you
want. So we're gonna rewind back to the panel we did. You made a comment about a man get off of work, he come home, he just want his woman and his wife, his girlfriend, whoever he's in a relationship with, to take care of him. Right. Like, do what she need to do to make sure he's taken care of, he's satisfied, no matter what kind of day he has coming in the door.
Right.
Nowadays, I'm hearing most men, and I'm actually hearing from most women, I'm not giving it to him all the time. I'm not bringing it to him. I'm not going to bring him that full me all the time, because there's times that I don't want to be bothered. Mm-hmm. But my opinion, I believe, especially a black man in the black community, they deal with a whole lot of the world on their back and their shoulders as a man. And I believe when they come home, their home should be their peace, their safe haven. So if you come in the house and you say, babe, you know what you need to do, you ain't really got to say anything. You should expect that to happen. What kind of communication that you have in that relationship where that woman knows it don't matter what, his food is done, whatever he needs, his slippers, if he has a cocktail, if he doesn't, if he drinks tea, he drinks coffee, I'm gonna make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. How can that information be communicated where I actually have to verbally say it all the time?
Well, you've heard this said before. Don't start out like you can't finish. I mean, if you're going to start out by making dinner every night and you sexing him every time he comes in, that's the expectation you set. Dude, if you're going to go in and pay the bills and take out the trash all the time, that's the expectation you set. Now, if you never set it and they expect it, that's one thing. But when you set yourself up, see, like when I date, I don't do that romantic stuff. It's kind of like birthdays, like, no, we ain't getting nothing for the birthday. I may not, Valentine's Day, none of that because it's expected, right? So I'm not going to do it because you expect it. I'm going to do it because I really want to. And then it's going to mean something. I'm not going to go buy you something on your birthday. I got to know you well enough to be like, what would you appreciate? Because if it comes from me, maybe I'll make you something. Maybe I'll do whatever, but that'll mean more because it comes from me, right?
It comes from the heart.
It comes from the heart, but I'm not going to just do it because I'm expected to do it. Like, you don't celebrate my birthday. Like, you only have one birthday. What are you talking about? You were born one time. Everything else is counting days. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Your birthday every year. You don't have a birthday every year. You know what I'm saying? You were birthed one time. Now you just count time. Now, even the Bible talks about some people esteem some days more than others. You may esteem your birthday higher than me. If I'm dating you and I see that every year for your birthday, you and your girls, y'all going to trip or something, I'm not going to stand in the way of you doing your trip. You know what I'm saying? But you expect, well, why don't you go up? That's not me. Now, when you are, let's just say there's got to be a value proposition, and I don't do this girlfriend, boyfriend stuff. Marriage is the only relationship that comes with rights. Okay, you have marital rights. You ain't got no girlfriend or boyfriend rights. You ain't even got fiance rights. Marriage is the only relationship that comes with rights. Now, if you're married, if you decide to marry this person, then now your body doesn't no longer belong to you and vice versa. It's kind of like you have an obligation and a duty to satisfy that person. But if you married doing this girlfriend, boyfriend stuff, miss me with that. I'm like, I can be a butthole sometimes. Last thing, Reese, because I was dating this chick once and she was like, well, I like a traditional man. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, I want you to, and then she laid it out what she wanted. I'm like, so you expect me to do all that? Yeah, a real man would do all of that. I'm like, okay. Are you a virgin? What? Are you a virgin? I mean, since you're going to go there, you're going to be traditional. You expecting all of that stuff. They wouldn't even sacrifice non-virgins to wooden gods back in the day. So you ain't no virgin, but you want all this stuff. See, that's a different kind of argument. It's like, no, let's just be realistic. It's like, what do you need? If it's within my power, once the value proposition is made, if I can do it, I will do it. But if I can't, don't get bent out of shape, because if you can do it, do it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You open up some points there. So we're gonna jump right in again. We're gonna jump right in again because now my brain is rolling now. My brain is rolling.
Oh, Lord.
So again, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be really good. So you brought out another good point. Traditional.
Right.
There is no such thing anymore, in my opinion, as a traditional relationship. Okay. I'm really big on learning anybody I'm with, even prior to me getting to the place in the journey I'm in my life right now. Every relationship I've gotten into, I've always learned that person, whether they're good, they're bad, who they are. And that showed me and it taught me how to interact with them, how to love them, how to whether it was a booty call, whether it was one night stand, whether it was a long-term relationship, I learned how to love them, how to value them, how to treat them. Is that what men looking for nowadays? Or men just like, if we're good, if we vibe good, if you do this, you do that, then I'm going to put a ring on, or I'm going to say you're really going to be mine, and we're going to take it to the next step. It seems that social media plays a big part now in a lot of relationships, from young to old.
Right.
What would you consider? Because we're not traditional more. What would you consider a relationship that you say, look, this is my criteria, this is my expectations, and this is what I like and this is what I don't like. And if you're with it, you're with it. If you're not, you're not. Is that your end all to be all, or do you have in between?
Right. Well, traditions still exist. It just depends on what culture or society you're talking about. Like if you go to India, they still do arranged marriages in the Middle East because they don't let something as important as dynasty building, they don't leave that to something as fickle as emotions. Okay. So it's about building a dynasty. It's not all about I'm attracted to you. It's not about that. Right. So to get to your point, social media does play a part. And when it comes to tradition, it depends on what it is that you're talking about. Like there's this book by Dr. Helen Smith. It's called Men on Strike, Why Men Are Boycotting Marriage, Fatherhood, and the American Dream and Why It Matters. And for over 20 plus years, she dealt exclusively with men's health issues. And she talked about how marriage just does not benefit modern men like it used to. Grandpa, if you let him put his clothes on, this mom might be wearing green and orange and purple, right? But so grandma laid out the clothes. He went to work. He brought the money home. She gave him a little piece of change so he can get his tobacco or wine or whatever it was he was doing. You know what I mean? But I pointed out that in the Black community, up until 1980, Black men and Black women were graduating from college about the same time. But in 81 and 82, for the first time in history, women were awarded higher degrees of education and they started out earning men. And it's been that way ever since. So when you start looking from a traditional standpoint, you have women on social media talking about, I want my man to protect, provide, and perform, the 3 Ps. Well, what are you basing that on? These athletes, these entertainers, right? The average man that you encounter is going to make $45,000 a year. And people, that's so low. That's in the world. If you made $32,000 a year compared to the rest of the world, you're rich, because some people are working for $1 a day. We just don't have perspective here, right? That's number one. And we start looking at tradition, you have to define, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So from a traditional standpoint, we have to sit back and be like, you want me to provide, protect, and perform. What does provision mean to you? I'm all about redefining. I know what provision means old school traditionally, but when you start looking at the suicide rates among men in 2021, the highest increase of suicide was between men between the ages of 15 and 24. And in 2021, 38,962 men killed themselves compared to 9,600 women. Men are 3 times likely to kill themselves than women because of this traditional mindset. If I'm not making the money, if I'm not paying the bills, I'm less than a man. No, you're not. Society has changed. Now, at $45,000 a year, if you want him to pay the bills, are you willing to live? Where you willing to live? I just put it like
you may have to go back to the lower poverty kind of life, side of life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you willing to live in a mobile home, a trailer? Are you willing to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you willing to do? Now, you can't have it all. And a lot of women these days, like, there's this documentary, it's called Happy, and they followed people for over 20 years. They documented the science of happy. And they came out, now you have to adjust this for inflation and everything, but they said anything over $60,000, people start to become less happy. The amount of money does not correlate to happiness. Over 60,000, you become less happy because human beings have a glass ceiling. No matter how much money you make, You can look up and see somebody walking over your head with something else, and you want that.
It's like you're never happy enough. You're like, I want more. I want more.
Animals, God did animals like this. Animals have two lines that they have to live between. It's called instinct. They can only go so high in intelligence, and they can only go so low. And no matter how angry the lion is, once his belly is full, every animal gets peaceful. Human beings, once their belly is full, then they find more stuff to get into. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, from a traditional standpoint, I just think we really need to be honest and truthful. Like, ladies, 6 feet tall, 6 figures, 6-pack abs, 666 might be the devil in your life. And why in the hell do you think he wants you? Because most successful, good-looking, powerful men ain't rushing to get in relationships. They don't have to. Everything they want, they can get in their dating pool. I want good communication. I'll call Reese. I want to hang out with somebody else and shoot pool. I got my girl Julie I can call. If I want the bomb sex, I got somebody else to call. Then I can go home and be peaceful. Ain't got to hear about, you should do something for my birthday. Ain't got to hear about none of that.
I hope they listening. I hope they listen.
I mean, it sucks.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. That's what I say. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Real is what real is. And see, I'm the opposite. It's not about how much finances you make, because if I'm working and you're working together, we're going to build that empire together. It ain't about how much you bring it to the table. Now, I don't want you to know, less than nothing, but bring something to the table. Like most women say, oh, he working at McDonald's, he working at Burger King, or he working at Target or Walmart. He ain't making no money. He ain't doing this. Guess what, baby? He got a job. He got a job at the end of the day. And it seems like most women discount what kind of job a man has, which maybe contribute to, as you said, the suicide rate being so high amongst men, because you got pressure from your generation, your family, or generations of grandmas, grandpas, your uncles, your this. Most of the men were supposed to be those type of men. And if they was not able to be that men, those type of men, they were being like drug dealers or being hustlers or not doing a regular 9 to 5. So it's like, bring something to the table. Help me. Be, as it says in the Bible, a wife is supposed to be the help meet. Not you're going to help me meet your needs. That's how I see it. Most women is like that. I'm going to help. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to help you meet my needs. It's like most women become selfish now in these days because they are looking at social media and the ballers and all those. But guess what? They don't realize they got debt too.
They got issues too. They do. It's like if you make $1 million a year and you spend $995,000 of it, it's like you still in debt, right? So it's like this, like you said. I think the updated definition of provision should be whatever a person makes, if he's willing to bring it home and share it completely with you, that's him providing. Now, a lot of women were like, well, I want you to level up. Okay. Well, you make more money than him. And a lot of y'all you've risen in the corporate world and you're making more money. I get it. But suppose this dude, like you said, he goes to McDonald's. Success is this. Whatever you decide that you wanted to do, if you're doing it, and that's what you intentionally decided to do, you're successful. And it doesn't have to have a dollar amount on it. So if this dude is working at McDonald's, but his goal and his dream has always been, I want to be a manager at McDonald's. Okay. And he gets there, 55, maybe 60,000 a year. Maybe he's doing that. But now I want him to own a McDonald's. Let's level up. Well, now he's not going to be there for you. The stress that he's going to have on his job, he cannot be a great provider, a great protector, and a great father at the same time. You got to pick your poison. Okay.
It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
The man of your imagination has the money. He can spend all the time going to vacations that you want to go and buy all your bags. And that ain't real life.
It's the word imagination. Because that's what it looks like nowadays. It's about, I want this dream guy. I want this dream man. I want this dream facade of a husband. And then sometimes you may meet that guy. And that's what it is. It's mainly a facade because you came and you told him, these are my dreams. These are my fantasies. And he's like, baby, that sound good. Yeah, I want that too. Even though he know I don't have that. Right. He may end up getting a rental car and pull up to you with that rental car. The next thing you know, I don't even know if they even make Pintos anymore. The next time you see him, he got a Pinto. You like, what did that car you was driving in when we first met, when you was whining and dining me? It's like women and men, because sometimes men are doing the same thing. Like our buddy was like, I want her to look like this. I want her to have the body like this on a constant basis, and I want to be submissive and be like that. And then my thing is, you got to bring the same thing to the table.
Right.
Because if a man wants that, a woman may want that too. But unfortunately, bodies and life and lifestyle don't always produce that.
They don't. And it's kind of like men and women these days are sitting across from each other. And there's a wood stove in the middle of us. And both of us are cold. But we're saying, I'll give you wood once you give me heat. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to give you've got to give it first, right? You can't be scared. You can't be timid. You can't wait. A person has to earn my trust. Well, that means you're going to deal with them untrustworthy. It's either trust or distrust, right? And if you use the process of elimination and you date in a healthy way, your feelings won't be caught up in it too much, Mm-hmm. And when it comes to another thing, it's not just about women, because these men, we out here tripping too. All right. Social media has fooled us into thinking we have way more opportunities and options than we really do. Right. But ladies, my thing is, your husband is probably in your friend zone. It's that dude that you tell your girls about. Girl, I know somebody for you. He's got a good job. He made this money. He's sweet, all this, but you don't want him. Well, why not? Because he's short. Girl, he's short. I can't have no short man. Or you 5'2" and you ain't gotta be 6'3". You stupid. The average height of men across the world, again, I'm talking about the world, if you travel, is 5'8", 5'9". That's tall in the world. You look at other people groups. I'm not going to put any nationality out there, but there's some short people out here in this world. So why does everybody got to start at 6 feet? 6 feet is not a standard, because most men are not 6 feet in the world. You're 5'2" and you're going to start. He's got to be 6 feet tall. He's got to look like Idris Elba. He's got to have good hair, girl. He got to have. Stop. And you know where that comes from? Go ahead. I'm going to tell you where it comes from, but go ahead.
Where?
I call it chadults, right? From the time we take our first gulp of air until about 7 years of age, those are the formative years. In our personality, our parents unscrewed the top, poured stuff in it, what they believe, what they thought, how we should live our life, their dreams, their hopes, whatever. They poured that into us. They instilled a sense of right and wrong, and then they screwed that top back on. And we've lived our life that way. Now, here we are, 40, 50, 60 years old, and we say stuff like, I'm old school. I believe, well, how old is old school? It's like you weren't born during the time that stuff was instilled. You weren't born in the 50s where they walked this on a certain side of the street. You were not born in that time, right? It was instilled in you. But you're 50 or 60, and that 7-year-old is still in the driver's seat of your life, and it won't get out until you kick him out. He will not. And that's why I had this person on the post. She's 50 years old. She's like, I don't care what y'all say. Us 50-year-olds are really killing the game. We making these 32 years old look the same. I'm like, why are you comparing yourself to a 30-something year old?
And I'm definitely not comparing myself to no 30-something years old at all. I'm in different lanes. We have different lanes.
That's what I'm saying. But it's the 7-year-old. It's like we look in the mirror. I still got it going on. After a certain period, once emotional maturity kicks in, you ain't looking in the mirror thinking that you still got it going on. It's then after a certain age and certain maturity levels, like how do you treat people? How do you show up in the world? How do you impact those around you? It's not about gimme. I'm fine. You ought to do this for me. You can tell an emotionally mature person based upon how they show up. Are they there to serve, or are they there to be served? Right? And it's not just you getting all you want.
A lot of selfish people, unfortunately, a lot of selfish people. and for a 50-year-old look, as I always tell myself, I just turned 50. So my thing is, in my mind, I'm still 28. But I know in reality, I'm not 28. I just got that young energy. But I would never want to compare, because for my journey, My oldest is 32. So do you think I want to compare my journey to my oldest child? That doesn't even make any sense.
And then the dating world, you at 50, if you're single, you're competing with your daughter for those men. Because if he's 6 feet tall, 6-pack abs, look good, he can get your daughter. And it's kind of like, it's like, look, a Model T Ford, you heard me say this when we were there the other day. A Model T Ford is a great classic automobile. It's good for weekend drives and it's good for car shows. But you better not try to put that old car on the highway. It ain't built for it. Now, these men that y'all going for, lady, tall, dark, and handsome, all this money, you're competing with these women in their late 20s up to 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. I'm sorry, but you're not young anymore.
And they got the bodies. They, they built the way the men are asking them from the build.
Some of them are,
and they're paying for a lot of that stuff, because that's what I said.
But if I had Morgan, if I have the money, it's a pay-to-play situation. If I have it, that's just part of my entertainment budget. It's part of my entertainment budget. I know that's what she's going for. I'm getting this. I'm getting her on my arm. I'm getting whatever. And she's getting a little change, but it ain't breaking me. So you can have that sweet thing.
Hey, believe it or not, I used to, but for me, I was getting them 6 feet guys. I always liked a tall guy. I remember the tallest guy I've ever dated, he was like 7'2". And I was like, man, and he was a pilot at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm pulling this guy, I'm pulling that guy. And I never was in the short guys. And the one short guy I had, he was a sweetheart, but he was in my 20s at the time. And I was like, no, I just got, when they say you lay down, y'all the same size, for me, it was not, because I feel like I was a giant compared to him being a midget. Right. So when the criteria of relationships is distorted, because you go, just like you said, the 50-year-old, she's probably somebody's auntie, and she's like, girl, you don't know how you need to do this. You need to be like this. This is how you get a man. And then and those girls and those guys listen to them, but they're not thinking, but why are you by yourself? Why are you still searching? What you still looking for? They're not using that common sense to say, you give me all this good advice, you're telling me all this, but I know who you are. I know what I see with you. So if you give me those criteria and those prerequisites for a relationship, why are you not on the same journey and path as you're trying to put me on?
They're not listening. I mean, the younger generation, they look at how we lived and they don't want the results that we had. They don't want the results. They just don't. They just don't. It's like, okay, I'll do life partnership, but I don't see the purpose of marriage. And I was counseling this chick, and she was about to leave this dude, and she was like, "Wow, he needs to marry me," and such. And I'm like, okay, would you be happy with the wedding? Would you be happy with the wedding or the marriage? I'm like, suppose he gets his family and friends together, and y'all exchange your vows. And then you annotate that date in the Bible or something, like back in the day, you're married. That's between you, witness, and God. That's what marriage is. I need a marriage license. I'm like, now you're getting into commerce. You need a license to conduct business. It's going to cost you something to get in it. It's going to cost you something to get out of it. You see what I'm saying? It's just kind of like you want the business contract. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, no. She won't come
at a high cost, because you may not even get your dream prince.
I don't know. I mean, I can't call it Morgan. I mean, I want people to be happy, but I think that the idea of happy, I don't think that we know what happy is. Happy is contentment, right? Happy is your responsibility. You have to know what your happy place is. It's not your partner's responsibility to make you happy. They can add or enhance your happiness, but even if they don't, whatever you were doing before you met them and you were happy, you got to continue to do that. A lot of people just don't want to shut it down. Andre is dating Morgan now. If you talking to anybody else that's the opposite sex, now I'm jealous and you need to shut it down. No, I'm not going to be checking your phone. I'm not going to be caring who texts you or call you, what time of the night. If you with me, you with me.
As I said, the same thing you do to get the relationship is the same thing you're supposed to do to keep the relationship and hold on to the relationship. Once you get lazy and you decide, okay, well, I already got the cow and the milk. I don't need to do no more. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna be with me forever. But that's not right. That's not correct, because you're right. He is gonna be with you forever because he got sustainability as far as that part. But he's not gonna be happy if you're not giving him the same things you were giving him when you first started in the state in the got in the relationship. The same way you pulled him or the same way you pulled her. And if you say, I don't feel like doing it, as you say, you come in the house, boo, you know what you need to do. When I walk in the door, I shouldn't have to say anything. But if I have to say, babe, I had a bad day today, and you're like, okay, well, you'll be all right. I'll be all right.
It's like this. If I want it, I have a mouth to communicate, right? So for me to just expect you to know something, like I heard this dude online the other day, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't. It's like a woman shouldn't have to tell a real man. He should just know, and he should. I'm like, you have a mouth to communicate, and things change. I may like this. I may have liked this last year, but I might not like it anymore, right? Or if I need this from you, I need to be able to communicate. Hey, baby, you know, when I come in, I'm feeling this way. It makes me feel this way when you don't. Okay, but the expectation doesn't have to be that like you're supposed to know to do it. Now, if I expose it to you and share it with you, either you will or you won't. Now, there's consequences to everything. Emotionally immature person, if like we're talking about, you got a grown audience, but we're talking about fellatio, right? And the example that I gave is, well, a man comes in the house, he had a hard day, then maybe he wants you to drop down on your knees and whatever. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if that's what he was used to, that's what he may want, right? But suppose you never gave him fellatio really, and it was something maybe you did and he never communicated that. For him to expect that to happen, I think is unfair. Now, if he tells you want it and you're just like, I'm just not into doing it, okay, leave it alone. Y'all, if you talk about it some more, it's going to be nagging. He knows how you feel. You know how you feel. Now, if you go out there and get some sloppy toppy somewhere else, I'm not condoning it. But sometimes in cheat proof, Morgan, in this book, this blew a people's mind. I'm like, okay, sometimes people think because Morgan ain't giving me what I want, I'm going to go cheat. Sometimes a person cheats to get back to the version of themselves that they were before they got into their current relationship. Sometimes they cheat because it's like, I felt good about myself before I got with you, but I had to change so much to try to make you happy that when I look in the mirror, I don't even recognize who I am anymore. Sometimes a person cheats to get back to that person because somebody new will fall in love with the original person that you fell in love with until you popped open that hood and start messing around with the machinery. Men and women do it all the time. So it's not all because it's a bigger butt out there. Sometimes it's like, I feel good going out there doing whatever. She or he comments, they celebrate me doing that. You tear it down. Men do not deal with but we would rather be respected and loved, and we're going to spend time where we're winning. Men deal with winning or losing. We don't deal with what's fair. Some women are like, well, I gave everything. It's not fair for you to go out there. Well, I felt like I was winning over there. Yes, I'm gonna spend time around winning. They ain't gonna come home and feel like I'm losing. I can't even make a layup.
No, you doing 3 pointers somewhere else.
I'm doing like, 3 pointers in these streets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Boo! And she's like, Hercules. I come home. Why don't you take out the trash when you got here?
Oh, here go a foul on the game. Red flag on the play.
I gotta work late. Baby, I gotta work late. The money, you ain't seeing no more money come in the house, but you working all them extra hours.
Dre, all right, we're gonna wrap this up because this thing is getting so good. I have to bring you back on. I have a slogan this year. 2023 is all about me. And Dre, I promise you, the cheating philosophies, the things about relationships, 2023 is definitely all about you. If you have anything that you want to share with the world, some trinkets that we can take home with us, something that you could say, dang, I never think about that. what can you share with us to have us thinking about it and dream about it and really put our mind together and say, wow, I never seen it that way.
Okay. The effective communication occurs on the listener's terms. Okay. Understand that it's not you talking. This when Andre is talking to Morgan, is Andre communicating in a way that Morgan would receive it, not the way I feel, because she might not connect with my feelings. But if I communicated, if Morgan lost her voice and I had to communicate what's important to her for her, could I do it? Now you've entered into understanding, and effective communication can occur. So I would say we have to define words the same way, because provision may mean one thing to you, it may mean something different to me. On a post I did the other day, I'm like, intimacy. When a lot of people say, well, me and Morgan, we're cool, but we've never been intimate. Well, a lot of people define intimacy as sex. When I broke down, I pulled out the definition, the dictionary. It means togetherness, closeness, affinity. You can have sex with somebody and not have any of that. So you've not been intimate with them. Or you can share your heart or your life experiences with someone, something that's difficult, and never have sex with them, but you've established intimacy. Going forward, we have to define words the same way. We have to step back and stop saying, I deserve this. And okay, you made bad decisions potentially in your past. So this new person is not they're not responsible to make up for what you messed up. And you messed up kind of by choosing that person. So effective communication, date effectively. And by effective dating, I mean using the process of elimination to arrive at one. Okay, just date. You don't go to the store and pick up the first fruit, put it in your basket. You pick up this apple, that apple. So don't take yourself too seriously. Learn how to date effectively. And by that, I mean just watch the person run their gambit of emotions. And then when you decide to be with that person, make a decision to stay. Because when you pick that person, it wasn't an emotional decision. So they're going to be easy to stay with because you pick somebody that you match with. So that's about it. And learn how to forgive. If my chick cheated on me, I wouldn't leave her. My chick, I wouldn't leave my chick.
Yeah. A lot of people don't do that no more.
No, you got to forgive.
They say they forgive, but they're actually sure that they don't forgive.
You got to learn how to forgive. You got to learn how. See, we be thinking that this stuff is easy to do. You have to, these are skills that can be acquired. They're not natural because we're not logical or rational species. We're an emotional species. You have to learn. If you want a great relationship, it has to be built over time intentionally. It will not just happen.
Right.
We got to do this again.
Yeah, we definitely got to go. We got a part 2, guys. I promise you. So if anyone need to find you, what social media platform or how can they find you? Do you have any events coming up? What's going on in your life in 2023?
Well, trying to get back into events. I used to do SOS, isms, expectations, and why you're single. SOS stood for stuck on stupid. And isms, expectations, and why you're single. I would love to get that started again. You can find me at andreblaylock.com. That's pretty much where some of the blog posts lives and everything like that. But I guess this year I'm just looking at promoting cheater, lover, liar, gigolo, looking at moving that forward and just really getting some small groups together like we did the other day, Morgan, men and women who really want to do relationships better, not just this play stuff. People who really want to show up to work, because if you want to show up to work, Morgan has a story. I have tools and techniques that you can use to put yourself in a better position to do a relationship that will last if you really want it. But you got to show up for the work. You got to show up for the work.
So are you on any social media platforms or your Instagram or anything like that?
Yep. Instagram, Dr._Andre_Blaylock. Facebook, Andre Blaylock. Those are the two that I mainly use. I'm not on TikTok right now. I know I should be, but I'm not. Same thing on YouTube, Andre Blaylock. So pretty much it's my name. You just Google me, you'll find me.
He's out there, guys. I didn't Google him.
Just Google me, you'll find me.
I saw him on a Dr. Phil show, and I was like, what?
Yo, shut up, Morgan. Anyway, thank you for bringing me on. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I look forward to doing this again.
Oh, we definitely will. I promise you. When I tell you we're gonna do something, when I say something, I mean it. My action will show and speak louder than my words. Okay. I appreciate you taking out the time out of your busy schedule for joining my show. Again, guys, Dr. Andre Blaylock, also known as Dre, the man, the myth, the legend. He's here. You know, he got some trinkets and some tools for all of us. Currently in a relationship, trying to get in a relationship, looking for some sustainability, some stability. You know, he's not perfect like we're not, like I'm not. Exactly. But, you know, imperfectly perfect person who's providing some stuff because he's been down that path. He's been down that journey. Mm-hmm. Thank you all again for joining my show. Again, this is Good Morning Black People with Morgan Reese. I'm your amazing, fantastic host on this magnificent, marvelous Monday. Morgan Reese with my man, Dre. To be continued. Be blessed.
Peace.
I'm Morgan Reese, inviting you to tune in weekly for some empowering, enlightening, and embracing conversations to kickstart your day on Good Morning Black People.